Alright, we're in our second match, and we have the good fortune to be on the play once again. We have the good fortune to have a decent hand. At least for this deck, it's decent. Turn once, mana line, go. Sign me up. I have to imagine that when our opponent sees us named Vampire, he's not particularly worried. And when he sees us play Falkenrath Gorger, he's still not worried. Oh, we're against Affinity. Well, this is going to be hard. Affinity is very fast. This is a matchup where I would really like to have something like Marsh Casualties. Wow, our opponent doesn't have anything else. That's good for us. Despite having the Captivating Vampire in my hand, I would trade with that creature if I could. Man, if I just had 2 1-drops, this draw would actually be kind of sweet, because it would mean we could start stealing stuff on turn 4 with Captivating Vampire. We have a Ravager. Turn 1 Vault Scourge Go is not particularly powerful, not the reason that you're playing Affinity. There's the Ravager. So, if our opponent wants to go all in on the Ravager, like if we play the Captain and attack, he can sack 1, 2, 3 artifacts to make Ravager a 4/4. I would feel pretty comfortable with that. I'd be a bit more worried about the Vault Scourge doing its thing. So we're just going to attack into it. I mean, with this Vampire Nocturnus for the next turn, I think it's probably best if we just lay on the pressure. Ooh, Yawgmoth Nexus. That's dangerous. So if we could draw a 1-drop and play Vampire Nocturnus and leave our mana open to steal something, or leave our creatures open to steal something, or if we could just have an open attack route and play Vampire Nocturnus, and have a black card on top, that would also be sweet. There's a plating. So not enough mana to... Oh yeah, enough mana to equip. Wow, 7/1, that's big. So I'm hoping that we get a 1-drop. Not a 1-drop, but we might still be able to lock up the air. So if we lock up the air with Vampire Nocturnus this turn and play Captivating Vampire next turn, that is certainly a way to win. How lucky can we be? All right, so we can attack for 14. Not quite good enough. But we can have pretty insane first strike wall. So I'm actually wondering if Just keeping the Vampire Nocturnus back is enough. No, I guess not, because our opponent can attack us with multiple attackers and sack everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 with the pest trigger. I think we might actually be fine to just attack with everything. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Yeah, I think we're I mean, if our opponent has a Galvanic Blast, we're gonna kind of be in trouble no matter what. I think we're just gonna swing for the fences. I don't think our opponent's going to be able to present a lethal attack through our Nocturnus. And we could steal our opponent's stuff, but we can also just kill him. So. Yeah, and that Vampire Nocturnus was a pretty big swing. I mean, it came into play, it essentially dealt 6 damage, and it allowed our 3 ground creatures to attack that maybe wouldn't have been able to otherwise. Okay. I don't think that's particularly helpful. My guy is first strike. First strike is pretty good. I mean, you can sacrifice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess he can get the Vault Scourge up to... No, because the... Yeah, he can get it up to 6 toughness, so he'll gain some life. But the plating's going to go way down in effectiveness. He's not going to gain that much life, and we should have him dead on the crackback anyway. If my opponent has a way here to kill my Stromkirk Captain, that would actually be a little more relevant now that we're here. Sure, sack all your stuff. They kill you anyway. I mean, now he's not gaining enough life. Still 13-7, actually. Pretty good. Oh, wow, that's actually enough to kill me. Maybe I am dead. I think I am dead. Oh, no, I'm dead. Oh, I've made a horrible mistake. Wow. I don't know if I made a mistake, but I am dead, unfortunately. The nice thing about putting my opponent to 1 is that way, or to 3, was that way my I could present like all the creatures would have been lethal attackers even without the Nocturnus being active. I wish there was something I wasn't. Oh well. All right, next one. So for this, I think we're just going to bring in. Figure might be better than Slaughter Pact. No, I think Slaughter Pact's better. All right, here we go. There's certainly some pretty hateful anti-artifact cards that we could potentially be playing, but as this is the first iteration of the deck, I have kind of a generic sideboard. Could also consider playing more 1-mana removal, and I think when I'm on the draw, I will do that, but when I'm on the play, I kind of want to give myself an opportunity to just sort of do my thing. Falkenrath Gorgers maybe are just too weak. I think having the top end of Vampire Nocturnus is pretty important because it gives flying. That's where a lot of my opponent is doing his attacking. The Falkenrath Gorgers, they're mostly just a Savannah Lion, and frequently that's not going to be particularly powerful. It does help us snowball a little faster. We can get some extra value off of Stromkirk Condemned or one of Olivia, but that's really it. And I think probably in this matchup, the Disfigures are better. But I will admit that, I'm not 100% sure. Maybe you could even make an argument for the discard spells. Not the best hand, but we're going to keep it. And it's a tough call if I want to play the Mutavault on 1 or the Blackcleave Cliffs. I have 11 2-drops. I'm going to play the Mutavault. Get in there for 2 on turn 1. Having a Mutavault and an Aether Vial and a 1-drop certainly bodes well for a potential to get Captivating Vampire online. It'd be really amazing if we had a 2-drop in our hand, because then we could play 2 creatures on this turn, a 2-drop with our second land drop, and Aether Vial putting in the Viscera Seer. And then on turn 3, we could play Captivating Vampire and potentially something else with our Aether Vial. It's pretty decent. And the Stromkirk Captain we can actually use as a pseudo-combat trick, potentially, with this Aether Vial. Although we may end up hard casting it, depending on what else we have access to. Ooh, Stealer Overseer. I would like a removal spell for that. bad hand. So next turn, we're going to be able to play Stromkirk Captain inside of combat, or like, off of Aether Vial. And we're going to be able to activate Mutavault. So if we draw a 1 or a 2 mana creature, we'll be able to activate Captivating Vampire on our turn. That's pretty exciting. Fortunately, we're not getting hit too hard here. Really like to draw something here. Ooh, perfect. Now we can start stealing things. Probably gonna steal the Vault Scourger first. Let me set a stop. So I want to do this now because if my opponent has like a land drop that produces red mana and has like a removal spell in hand, I don't want him to be able to respond to me. And what's nice too is I can steal this Vault Scourge, and it's going to get +2/+2 because it's also going to become a vampire, and it's going to get first strike. So, pretty bad spot for my opponent, if I do say so myself. Nice too is sometimes these Affinity decks play Whip Flare, deals 2 damage to all non-artifact creatures. Because I have 2 lords, I'm well insulated from that. And my opponent was able to sneak one over on me last game, but I think he'll be able to do it this game. And this is pretty awkward for my opponent. I mean, if he doesn't have a removal spell for this Captivating Vampire, like right now, I mean, it doesn't seem like he has one this turn. You know, next turn might actually be too late. Deal with that. My opponent won't be able to present like a lethal attack if he just attacks with everything. I have too high of life total. Vault Scourge just has flying and lifelink. Gonna be a great blocker. It's gonna get +2/+2, become a 4/4 first strike. I mean, this seems like game to me. I thought it was game last game too, but my opponent has no profitable attacks. Can activate both Overseers. Oh, I guess the Ornithopter would be a profitable attack if he attacks with the Signal Pest also. No. Play this. And I kind of want to attack with the Vault Scourge. Probably better to just attack with something on the ground. No need to rush. And even if my opponent tries to do, you know, something sweet, it's like this Mutavault's expendable. I already have 5 others. I can steal something, like steal one of the blockers inside of combat, make things like extra bad for my opponent if I want. And if anything dies, I still get the Highborn trigger. So it's like a lot of good things going on for me. Here, I'm not exactly sure what my opponent's doing. You might be able to do something with like blocking with both Overseers and pumping them both. Looks like he's going to be making some sort of block because he's activating those so he gets a Overseer trigger. But if he blocks with the Ornithopter, I'm probably just going to steal it. So from here, just wait. I'll just wait. I guess this is a free block. Kind of a free attack. What I'm likely to do this combat is block with Vault Scourge in the air after my opponent declares attackers, and then steal something. Because the Yawgmoth Nexus needs to be blocked. And then there may be something else also. But I do kind of feel like the world is my oyster at the moment. Still, Overseers are making things quite big. The fact that I didn't draw another Lord this previous turn was like a little unfortunate. But I think it's okay. I can just keep stealing all of the flying attackers, and the Steel Overseers are going to have a very, very hard time getting through on the ground because I have this first strike wall. Ooh, red mana. This Galvanic Bombardment? Wow. So this is really bad, because now... Man, I'm dead. I guess I shouldn't have attacked with the Mutavault. Um... Ah... Well... Just have to steal this Ornithopter. My only hope of survival. I feel like my opponent should have just gone after the Captivating Vampire. And then once this happens, I can sacrifice the Vault Scourge to Viscera Seer and get a Scry. And of course the Drain from Kalastria Highborn. Like actually has some rather tedious mechanics. Ooh, that's really good. That's great with Kalastria Highborn and Viscera Seer. Really nice. Yeah, and the Yawgmoth Nexus is pretty threatening. Our opponent can pump it up with his Blinkmoth Nexuses so that my Ornithopter can't beat it in combat. Pretty annoying. So I feel like I can just kill one of these Steel Overseers now. Wait, I can actually kill the Inkmoth Nexus and take 13, going to 4. Your Blinkmoth gets +1/+1. This isn't a Blinkmoth. My opponent doesn't have 2 black to do that. I feel like I can afford to do this. Take potentially 6 poison. No poison as of yet. What? Oh, my Urborg. Oh, wow. So we could have actually done that on anything. But it only would have been 15. So this is exactly 10 poison. Wow, what a punt. Oh my gosh. My own Urborg allowed him to get the black mana. Jeez, you guys are probably ripping out your hair. I just punted that match. Oh, wow. Well, that was pretty sick. On to the next one. Oh, well. Oh, wait. I only go to 1. We're still alive. First strike. And now I'm going to crack back for lethal. Dude, insane. I don't even know how this game works. I thought I was dead and now I'm going to win. Oh my gosh. Well, that's totally unreal. Totally unreal. Geez. 4, 10, 5. I have more than enough to kill him. Well, that was totally unreal. Wow. First strike, ladies and gentlemen. Jeez, I still can't believe that. And I almost want to have the Collective Brutalities for potential removal spells. But I don't want to water down my deck too much, so I think I'm going to just run as is. This might be a mistake, though. Maybe that I could trim like 2 Kalastria Highborns for 2 Collective Brutalities, or like 1 and 1 or something like that. But if I have too many removal spells, my deck might not function particularly well. So because I don't have an answer for cranial plating, if my opponent has one of those, then every single threat they play is like pretty devastating. And if they have Arcbound Ravager, my Collective Brutalities and Disfigures are not actually going to line up that well against them. If these Disfigures were Fatal Pushes, that would be a different story. But so I'm just going to run it back like this. That was a crazy game, though. I felt like I punted game 1, although it was unclear if I punted or if I was playing overly aggressive, or how much value I had. Tied up in the putting my opponent down to 3. And then that game, I forgot, or yeah, I mean, there's just all these weird interactions. They're not cards that I play with all the time. And I mean, you can see my opponent kind of made a mistake too. He probably thought he had lethal, and that first strike damage got him. We're on the draw, but we have a pretty good hand. Oh, and might be against Affinity again. Yeah, we're against Affinity again. Wait, did we just play this guy? I think we just played this guy. Hold on, am I still recording? Totally am. Wow, I'm still so in shock from that last game that I don't even know what's going on. This is just game 3. Yeah, sorry. I'm just losing it. We do have a decently fast hand though, so that's cool. We don't have oh, I got the cool deck, sweet. We don't have an Aether Vial to boost our mana, but the Bloodghast plus Stromkirk Condemned thing is pretty sweet. And then once the Bloodghast is in play, Indulgent Aristocrat. So if we can hit our 3rd land drop, we're gonna have a above average draw. That doesn't mean that things are gonna line up well for us. This Vault Scourge may be difficult for us to beat, but we're potentially going to be able to start stealing things on turn 4. Yeah, and the plating with the Vault Scourge is actually pretty hard for me to beat. I'd really like to just draw Disfigure off the top. Make my day. And obviously I get kind of blown out if my opponent has a whip player. But if he doesn't, this hand's looking kind of good. Wow, another one. Geez, so now that Vault Scourge is going to be 9 power? That's going to be a bit harder to deal with. Ooh. So, if I want to live, I'm just dead. I need a flyer. Well, I guess I should. Well, my opponent can even just activate Yawgmoth Nexus to get another artifact. How could I ever survive? If he activates an Yawgmoth Nexus, this is 11 power. So I need to gain 5 life. And I can only gain 3. Man. Really needed a Disfigure. Malakir Gatekeeper would be amazing too. But it looks like we're just toast. Oh man. Just letting this loss settle in. This match has been a bit of a roller coaster. So close to deploying this captivating vampire and potentially stabilizing. But all our opponent needs to do is just play anything. We are dead. Yeah, that's a good way to keep your play safe. If only we had a blocker. Vampire Nighthawk, Malakir Gatekeeper last turn, some other removal spell. Draw one of Olivia. Yeah. Alright, next one.